the Conscious Conversation with Aleya. We are going to be talking about energy, life, energy fields, how to deal with empathic sensitivity, how to hold better boundaries, and how to deal in a world that maybe doesn't have words or conversations about being energetically aware and energetically sensitive. So as we share this information, I always like to bring in the guides, the Ascended Masters, to create a safe space as we relay this information. We invite you to energetically and consciously retrieve and receive only that which resonates for you and that which is appropriate. Never at any point in time are my energy fields doing anything to you. I'm simply modeling the energy, sending you information, inviting your higher self to extract only that which you need and bring it in your own unique way, essentially clearing any of my energy or the guide's energy off and making it your own so that it can be your own tools that you use in your own unique way. We call forth the Ascended Masters, your guides, your spiritual advisors, to gather now around you in this safe and sacred space. We invite you to take a deep breath in, to use your inhale to pull all of your energy and awareness into your inner river of light, your divine line that flows up and down the front of your spine. It is the safest place for you to be, for you to receive information. It is the place where you hold your power, where you're completely protected and totally connected in every breath. An Ascended Master actually holds 99% of their awareness in their divine line 24/7. And when they hold a little of their awareness outside their divine line, it's for pure entertainment purposes. They might have 1% perception of disconnection. And so the journey is to gently and gracefully cultivate greater connection with the light that flows within us. And the breath is one of the most powerful mechanisms for getting yourself into your divine line and simply using the inhale, your intent, your imagination, your higher self. So that's the very first step that I recommend cultivating to build stronger boundaries, to decrease empathic sensitivity. Although empathic sensitivity can be quite useful because it gives us a ton of information about how someone else is feeling, it is also a major compassion building exercise. So if you feel somebody's anger or their body pain or their behavior or their belief systems, that enables you to be compassionate for their journey. Then the second piece is to have discernment and to recognize that anytime you're empathic, you, your body, or your team, or your spiritual family has energetic information for whomever you are empathically feeling. You might be empathically feeling the soul rider. You might be empathically feeling their body deva. You might be empathically feeling their team, or your team might be feeling their team, and then you empathically feel your team feeling their team. That might seem or feel a little confusing and complicated, but if you understand that you are impacted primarily by 4 energies. You, the soul rider that you hold, ideally your essence and the divine line on the front of your spine. Your body, deva, nature, spirit, it's like from earth, it has its own unique consciousness. It's like the horse you ride or the car you drive. You are not your horse, you are not your car. And then you have a team, those beings that encircle you in another dimension, a finger breath away. And then you can also be empathically feeling other people, other energies. So essentially identifying those 4 places of where you might be picking up information and then sending the appropriate information. We're going to go a little bit more into empathic sensitivity a little later on in this conscious conversation. But I want to take a look at questions that people have shared with me over the last several months and address those. So the first one is, are we on or off track with regards to our ascension process? I would love to hear some great news on whatever is happening in that process that's coming our way. And this morning I was walking my dog Freckles, and I felt this huge sort of surge of groundedness as I was walking, and realized that my awareness has been in the higher realms a lot. And so I took a moment to sort of pause and go, wow, I'm really grounded, I'm really present, I'm really here. And then my angelic guides encircled me, and they shared with me some really neat information. And they said that there are so many shifts happening in the higher dimensions right now that the majority of us are holding the majority of our awareness in the higher realms. We're not holding a lot of awareness in the physical realm, which is why we might literally feel offline or out of touch or out of sync. And it's not a problem. There's nothing we need to do to fix it except hold discernment that our higher selves, our body Deva's higher selves, our team, are working overtime in the higher realms. And so when we give ourselves that container, that breath, that awareness, then we might not put as much pressure on how we are performing in the physical dimension. And right now it's August 3rd, 2015, and I heard that that higher dimensional work, lots and lots of activity in the higher realms, is going to be happening for another 2 months. So essentially the beginning of October 2015 is when it starts to abate. And the other piece that's coming through is that when there is a lot of activity happening in the higher realms, energy is moving very quickly up there. And we then perceive that down here in the physical realm, time is accelerating. Time doesn't really accelerate. Well, it actually can. There's an energetic pulse that can affect time in a mystical way. I'm not sure quantum physics would agree with that at this point in time. Maybe in a couple hundred years they might. But essentially, if you understand that your higher self, the energetic aspect of you and your body, are doing a tremendous amount of work in the higher realms, it's going to create this acceleration phenomenon for you here in the physical realm. One way around that is to take 1 minute, 2 minutes a day, closing your eyes, bringing your awareness into your divine line, traveling up to your higher self, and working at lightning speed, getting all of your higher dimensional to-do tasks done in the higher realms. It usually only takes about 30 seconds to 2 minutes a day to get everything done, maybe even 10 seconds, depending on the task at hand and the energy at different times of the year. So, 2 minutes, holding your conscious awareness, moving at lightning speed, letting your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self and team, do whatever work it is you are doing up there. Repairing grids, connecting grids, destroying grids, creating blueprints, sending information to everyone at the level of their higher selves that's on this planet or around this planet or in other galaxies. Go as big and fast as you want to go, using the higher realms to do it. Then once you sense that the work is complete, you don't need to mentally know what that is. Bring your awareness back down your divine line, update all your reference points, and have a lovely, relaxed day. There is a major piece when you do travel up to your higher self, and I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. The moment you bring your awareness into your divine line, river of light on the front of your spine, you gain access to your higher self. And if that doesn't work for you, you can travel up your divine line to your higher self. But before you travel up your divine line to your higher self, firmly attach your divine line to the front of your spine by simply asking your higher self to work with your energetic fields, the guides, to firmly attach your divine line to the front of your spine. It's like strapping in before you go Mach 20. So again, pulling your awareness into your divine line, firmly attaching to the front of your spine, traveling up to your higher self, and then inviting your higher self to do whatever it is that is your mastery, your passion, your joy, that you can do with your eyes closed and your hands tied behind your back. And again, you don't have to mentally know what that is. So doing your higher dimensional work consciously accelerates it. Then you don't kind of drag through the day holding a little bit of your awareness here and a little bit of your awareness there, and everything is less efficient. So give that a try. It might actually boost your level of clarity as well as your energy levels. I find that if I'm really tired in the day, it's an indicator that I am working really hard in the higher realms. If I don't want to be tired, I close my eyes, bring my awareness into my divine line, go up high, crank it out, 30 seconds, 2 minutes. I feel the completion, I bring my awareness back down, and within 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, my energy level comes back online. So the next question that wasn't really asked in the physical realm is, so what are we doing over these next 2 months? Busting a pick, up high, working really, really hard. And I really see this time of ascension on the planet as creating these beautiful lines of light, higher consciousness. And I'm a very firm believer and holder, I hold vigil for gentle, slow, graceful evolution, as opposed to the apocalypse moment or the asteroid or the Atlantean pushing and forcing, blow apart, cataclysmic event. And so what I'm holding vigil for is that over the next several hundred years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, it is a gentle ascension where, yes, there will be a certain amount of destruction, but in general, in the background, in the higher realms, we are building this absolutely beautiful, exquisite tapestry of high consciousness, light, love, personal responsibility, conscious connection to the divine essence within. So if we take a look at our history, just in the last 100 years, it's actually pretty remarkable how things have shifted. Now, the cool thing is that our intolerance is rising. What we witnessed 50 years ago or 100 years ago is literally intolerable now. Then change happens. If you can tolerate something, it doesn't change. If you can't tolerate it, it changes because it's so uncomfortable. Same with the environment. Toxicity levels will become intolerable, which means things will change. Or the human body, deva, nature spirit will literally be forced to evolve to hold a higher vibration where the toxic load does not negatively impact the biology. Usually with evolution, we get forced into it. Again, I'm holding vigil that it's a gentle, graceful evolution over several hundred years, 1,000 years, longer, like a 2,000 year period, would actually be an even more gentle process of evolution. So patient, slow, and steady. Now, that's not exactly sexy, and we typically don't want to hear that because we want it all now, right? We're in the microwave society. But if you think about your journey and your evolution and how many lifetimes it's taken for you to get to where you are now, and how many lifetimes it's going to take to move into full-on ascended master state, you've got a couple ahead of you, maybe 2, 3, 10, 15, 20. There's really no hurry because eventually when you get to that place of being a complete full-on ascended master, you then choose a different form to go through all of the steps of evolution again. So we actually really want to get to a place in our evolution where we're not pushing the next step, but more accepting exactly where we are in the moment. I think that was a little bit of a segue, or perhaps off topic, but I think that we are headed in a beautiful direction. It's just a little longer term than what some people might be talking about. And, instant change, that sells books, it sells magazines. Does it really happen? Think about your life and how many things instantly changed. Usually if it instantly changed, it was pretty shocking, pretty intense. And so really think of your own process and Earth's process as a gentle evolution. We're cultivating greater degrees of spiritual maturity. We are minding the gap. That is my favorite term. So I was in meditation and connecting in with Christ and Buddha and or ascended masters, I can't recall in this moment. And they were talking about how, oh yeah, it was a joke. So they said, "Hey, Aleya, guess how hard becoming enlightened is?" And I said, "How hard?" And they went, and I was like, "Oh, the breath." So every time we inhale, we have an opportunity to remember our divine connection. Every time we exhale, we express that divine connection and we have an opportunity to forget it. Then on our next inhale, we have the opportunity to remember it. And so we get to ask ourselves, how many breaths between forgetting and remembering are we having? Have we had 20 breaths? We forget ourselves for 20 breaths, and on the 21st breath, we remember our divine connection again. 21 breaths, it's going to be a teeny tiny little rush. If you have 2,000 breaths, so you remember yourself, your divine connection, and then you forget yourself for 2,000 more breaths, minding the gap, then on the 2001 breath, you're going to get a little bigger of a rush. The bigger the gap, the bigger the rush of the remembering. So I recommend minding the gap, whereas at least once a day, you come into that divine connection by pulling yourself into your divine line and feeling that beautiful essence light that flows within you. So mind the gap. Every time you forget, you have the opportunity to remember to a deeper degree than the time before. The next question is there a basic way to meet and know who our guides are so we can communicate with them? And the technique that I recommend is to, again, pull yourself into your divine line. That is always step one. Close your eyes, invite your higher self to work with your energetic fields and the guides to pull all of your energy and awareness into that inner river of light. And as you pull yourself into your divine line, you immediately get access to your higher self. Or you can firmly attach your divine line to the front of your spine and travel up to your higher self. And I recommend inviting your higher self to find a sacred space, maybe like a sacred conference table or a sacred room, sacred crystal table where you all gather with your guides, your advisors, your team, your body deva. And so you're inviting your higher self to work with your energy fields, to connect with your guides, your team, to have them huddle around you at the level of your higher self. A lot of the times we want to feel our guides or literally hear our guides or team. And I was explaining to a client the other day that I love my team and my guides too much to ask them to come close enough for me to feel them. Because if they come really close, they actually have to lower their vibration in order for me to feel them in the physical realm with my physical body, or to see them with my physical eyes. And so we really want to use our higher self, that energetic aspect of us, to connect with our team and our guides up there so that they don't have to lower their vibration in order to communicate and connect with us. Also, our higher self has the ability to energetically receive information from them. And we don't receive it at a mind level. So you can invite your higher self to open channels of communication, connection, to receive whatever energetic packets of information your guides, your team, the Ascended Masters, your spiritual family has for you. Imagine your higher self receiving that information, digesting it in a higher realm, and then once it's fully digested, relaying that energetic information, that consciousness, that knowing, those belief systems down to you here in this realm. So that is the technique that I recommend. And if that doesn't work for you, you can start off every evening when you go to bed. You can make the request. I ask that in dream time, I go and connect with my guides, receive whatever energetic information, have them do whatever healing with me that's appropriate, that keeps me empowered, balanced, clean, clear, connected, whatever qualities you want. So you can literally use your dream time, which is you going into another dimension, to connect with your guides. After a month, 2 months, or 3 months of connecting with your guides in dream time, then try that meditation again of bringing your awareness into your divine line, traveling up to your higher self, and inviting your higher self to connect with your guides and your team. And there's actually a really interesting kind of conversation that I was having just the other day when I was sitting in meditation. And if I keep my mind engaged, it's kind of like that left brain linear to-do list, even being creative, of thinking of projects and things that I need to get done. There's a bit of an edge with that left brain. If I keep that on and try to meditate using that linear way of being, it doesn't really work so well. If I let myself kind of go into a dreamy place and shift, and I'm just modeling that energy, literally shifting my awareness into the right hemisphere of my brain, and then imagining that I have a higher self, an energy self. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking my awareness off of the physical plane, off of that kind of controlling rigid mind or the to-do list. And I'm bringing it up into a higher realm, and I'm imagining that I have this higher self up there that's doing work, that's gathering information. I might even shift my awareness more into my right eye to bring my awareness into the right brain. Now that might be different for you. You might switch to the left eye because the left eye is controlled by the right brain. And you're just holding your awareness, and then you make requests. And here's the trick with the work. When you ask your higher self to do something, or your body to do something, or your team, you want to hold your awareness in the higher realm for a good 10, 20, 30 seconds. This is the hard part because our society is so quick and fast, and there's new information all the time. It's like information overload, and to hold a focus for 10 or 20 or 30 seconds can actually be very difficult. And so you do want to start practicing just holding your awareness that for 20 seconds, maybe even set a timer, that your higher self is busting its butt, working hard, connecting grids. Just use your imagination. You've already made the request. Let it happen up there. As you sense it happening up there, allow for that reflection to begin happening here. So that is kind of the essence of the work, right? Like that really critical piece to allow for this other work to happen in another dimension. But the only way to do that is to use our imagination, which actually gives us access to another dimension to do the work. So imagination is key. I think Einstein said something like it's the key to access other dimensions. The imagination is the key to access other realms. I'm probably not quoting him exactly, but something like that. The next question is, what is self-sabotage and why does it happen? Now that is actually a very layered question. There might be a lot of reasons, but self-sabotage, number one, could be that you, your body, or your team are holding an issue that's not yours. So you would send it back along with appropriate energetic information, lift all of your attachment and your desire for that other person's reality off of them, and only be responsible for your own reality. I've got energetic protocols, meditations that speak to letting go of issues that are not yours. The second piece of self-sabotage is that you might be holding responsibility for your body deva, or your body deva might be holding responsibility for you, or your team might be holding responsibility for you or your body deva. So when we don't feel like we are holding responsibility for a particular task or behavior, then we can't follow through with it. We feel disempowered, almost like a victim, powerless. And so the task is to invite the higher self to retrieve all of that responsibility that it gave away to others, and to hold that responsibility. And then to bring in the resources, the tools, the energetic information and consciousness that helps you engage in that behavior or that activity. I know that for several years, my body deva, 2 years, every single day, I invited my higher self and my team to return all responsibility that I was holding for my body deva, that my team was holding for my body deva. Then for I think maybe another 6 months or part of that 2-year process, I invited my body deva to retrieve all responsibility that had been taken or that she had given away to others. After 2 years of having my body deva retrieve all responsibility for itself, all resources that helped it fully engage in those tasks and that responsibility, my body deva then clicked into controlling itself and not sabotaging intentions. So my body might say, oh, I want to lose 5 pounds. And then sabotage would immediately kick in because I was more attached to my body losing 5 pounds than my body was. That's just one example. So I recommend really doing that daily practice of body deva, it's not my responsibility to love you. That's your responsibility. Heresy, I know. But invite your body deva to love itself, to support itself. If you have issues with the spinal cord, have a little chat with your body deva, because that is where your body deva's divine line runs. And so you as the soul rider might be smearing yourself on your body deva's divine line and all over your body deva, and not giving her or him the space to fully own, control, heal, and support its own body. And it's an energetic protocol of essentially pulling all of your energy, you the soul essence rider, off of your arms, your legs, your belly, and onto the front of your spine, holding only your awareness in that inner river of light on the front of your spine, and then inviting your body deva to activate its divine line that runs in the spine, and then to infuse its vibration into every cell, every organ, every meridian and gland of itself. So we're really wanting the body to own itself, take over itself, and recognize that we, the soul, are just riding in the body, that we are the steward. This is not our body. It's Earth that we're in. How close can you get with Earth? Like, you can't get any closer than this. And so really practicing and working the recognition of your consciousness and how it's different than your body deva's consciousness. And as you recognize your body deva's consciousness, she or he awakens to a greater degree. Lots of homework there. So body deva, spinal cord, inviting the body deva to activate its divine line in the spine, totally own it. And I've mentioned this before, but the one thing that does not age in the body deva is the spinal cord. And my theory, and that's actually like scientifically proven, that isn't an Aleya belief system. This is now my perspective. My perspective is that the body deva nature spirit does hold the majority of its awareness in its divine line that runs through the spine. And the more that we, the soul rider, give permission to the body deva to begin infusing the vibration of its essence into every cell, into every organ, the entire physical human body literally becomes the divine line of the body. So the divine line just gets bigger and bigger and held in more of the cells, and then the aging process decreases. So a lot of body deva issues might be your body deva holding issues that belong to other body devas. Your body deva has information. Start teaching your body deva to send all of the issues that it's holding of other body devas, ancestors, friends, lovers, anybody that the body deva has ever cared about or ever felt threatened by, to send those body deva issues of other body devas back to its right and perfect place along with the appropriate information. We also want to start training the body deva to be more attached to its own reality, no other body devas. That is really hard to do. And so it's gentle, patient, compassionate reminding. So if you are physically, empathically feeling other people's stuff, that is an indicator that your body deva is a little unconscious, I mean this with all love in my heart, unconscious, octopus, kleptomaniac. he or she is going and grabbing other body deva stuff and then feeling the headache and feeling the irritation. And we have to understand that the body deva just wants to help that other body deva. Your body deva has information for that other body deva. And so we really want to start training the body deva to send the issue back, send the information that it has, lift the attachment and the desire off of that other body deva, be only attached, desiring, and responsible for itself, and then model the solution to that other body deva. So those are the steps to help your body deva deal with empathic sensitivity. The majority of people that do listen or resonate with these concepts and with my work are healers somewhere deep inside, even if that's not your actual right livelihood. And so we want to help, we want to serve, we want to be light workers, we want to make the world a better place. That's like a program in our heart. Now, we might feel a little despondent and hopeless on occasion, but energetically, we're always looking for a way to make things better. And so my angle and approach is to make things better by being co-creative instead of codependent, because that codependence of being attached to people's happiness, being attached to people being safe or supported, immediately puts us in high levels of empathic sensitivity. And then we actually get disempowered. We disempower others. Correction. We don't get disempowered. Well, actually, we could. But essentially what we're doing is we're disempowering another person because we're thinking that they're not capable of handling whatever it is they are navigating. And I also think about it a little bit when I think about if somebody said to me, well, Aleya, I really want you to be happy. And I would say, well, what if I actually really want to be peaceful and clear and connected? Like, what if that's what I want, as opposed to what you want for me? And so if somebody said, well, Aleya, I want you to be happy, and I'd be like, well, that's not for you to want for me. I have my own agenda of what I want for myself that's totally appropriate where I am in my growth and evolution. And so when I spun it that way and looked at it from that perspective, I realized that it's not kind for me to want for another person's reality. I can hold a space and compassion for somebody to want for themselves, for me to model what I think might be helpful for them on myself, but not project it upon them. That also decreases empathic sensitivity. So we're kind of going in and out of the empathic sensitivity conversation. Hopefully some of those tools are useful. That we segued into that from self-sabotage. Frustration, anger, and massive resentment for things not working out. How to deal with that. Being direct, short, sweet, and simple. Maybe not sweet. Too much attachment to the physical dimension and outcomes in the physical plane. Now that might be you, your body, or your team. Probably your body is more attached to outcomes in the physical plane. And where I like to hold my attachment, where it is most effective, is actually in a higher realm, not in the physical dimension. It would almost be like getting really attached to the surface of the mirror, as opposed to getting really attached to what is creating the reflection on the surface of the mirror. And so anytime you have disappointment, that's an indicator that you have the opportunity to use your higher self, your body deva's higher self, to lift all of your attachment for a particular outcome out of the physical realm and to hold it. This actually would work before a disappointment. So if you think of something you really, 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 really want in the physical world, invite your higher self, your body deva's higher self, to create that in a higher realm and get really attached to it happening in that higher realm. Like it's 100% happening in the higher realm. Absolutely, 100% attached to that reality. So if I were to use my book, it's a bestseller, New York Times bestseller in a higher dimension. Super attached to that. It's already happened. So cool. So exciting. Now, whether that actually happens in the physical realm, doesn't matter. I'm more attached to it happening in a higher realm. The more attached I am to it happening in a higher realm, because it's now happening in a higher realm, the more likelihood it is to reflect that reality, to reflect into the physical plane. So the attachment literally creates the acceleration and the amplification and the density in order for that reality in that higher realm to reflect down here into this realm. So hold your attachment in the dimension where you have that desire fully actualized. The next piece, how to manifest with others. So this was somebody who is in relationship with someone, and they, I think, were trying to find a new home. And the way to do that is to obviously have a conversation with the person you want to manifest. Ideally, if that's not appropriate, there's another strategy. But you would bring your awareness into your divine line. You would have them bring their awareness into their divine line. You would access your higher self by either holding your awareness in the divine line or traveling up to your higher self on a higher plane. And you could imagine kind of meeting in a planning room or a sacred space, a container. Maybe you have your advisors and their advisors encircling you, your body devas, your teams, a nice big group gathering. And you very clearly, out loud, maybe even write down on a piece of paper what it is you are intending on creating. So that both of you are in agreement with that. You show that energetic information, that request to your advisors, your team, your body devas, and everybody sits in this sacred space sharing information, collaborating, communicating, connecting. Everyone's voice gets heard in the most gentle, respectful way. Now, is there anything happening in the physical realm? No. You're just sitting in stillness, holding your awareness in your divine line, holding the awareness that your higher self, your partner or that friend or that colleague at the level of their higher self is connecting, collaborating. They're holding a bit of awareness in the higher realm that that collaboration is happening. You can be doing this over the phone, Skype, or in person. It's nice to have that person actually with you if you're in that collaboration process. And you just keep holding your awareness there, collaborating, relaying information, coming up with the solution up there. Manifesting, gathering appropriate resources, making appropriate contacts, contracts, finding the perfect home, finding the appropriate job, next job or contract if it's a colleague. And you are coming up with a solution up there. And then you might sense that it completes. They might sense it completes earlier or after you. You could keep this up for 2 or 3 days or a week or a month or even a year if it's a really big ticket item. And so essentially using the higher realms for that collaboration and that solution creation, the creation of the solution. And then hold your attachment that you found it, you did it, you created it, you got it up high, and then allow for that reflection into the physical plane. There is also a little one-liner that I put into everything. To whatever degree supports everyone's greatest happiness involved. So I personally never want to create something that wouldn't support my greatest happiness or the people that I love, their greatest happiness. So I always put that little one-liner to the degree or in a way that supports everyone's greatest happiness or peace or connection. I guess that would be me wanting for other people's realities. I suppose you could sort of reframe it and say, to the degree that's appropriate and supportive and loving for everyone involved. That would be another phrase that you could put in, whatever resonates for you. So there's a thing about killing insects, address killing insects or killing animals for food. And I currently am not a vegetarian. And anytime I do eat meat, I thank the chicken or the fish or the turkey. It's life from my life. So I'm in gratitude that it has come to this world. It's part of the nature kingdom. And it's kind of almost like a completion of a cycle. So that's, it's like my body diva is a nature spirit. Nature spirits eat nature spirits to survive. Hummingbirds drink, do they do bugs? Birds eat bugs. So it's really honoring that right now my physical human body deva is engaging in that energy, but from a place of honoring the full cycle of life and death. So it's a time of gratitude. Now, intentionally killing an animal or an insect, I can't really quite get behind that. By accident, I actually killed a bug a couple months ago, and I felt so badly about killing the bug. And so I actually asked for that bug to go on into whatever form serves its greatest happiness, whatever it chooses, in the form of a nature spirit. And then literally have taken great care since the killing of that one bug to save ants and little flies that land in the hot tub. I remember one morning taking like 5 minutes to retrieve this tiny little fly. And so if we kill something unintentionally, then we can actually use that as a moment to give that nature spirit a prayer to go on in a bigger, better, more beautiful way, or whatever they want. It's the conscious passing. And then we can use it to cultivate greater degrees of conscious awareness of how we treat the nature kingdom around us with respect and gratitude and love and tenderness. Hopefully I answered that question. Another question was, I also want to know what vibrations to insert in the protocol to manifest a job. Anytime you want to manifest anything, you would want to ask yourself, if you were to manifest the perfect job, how would you then feel inside? Then you would go for that vibration, that quality, and activate that in your divine line. You could even have a conversation with your body deva and say, Body deva, nature spirit, if you created your perfect right livelihood service job, how would you then feel? And your body deva might say, I feel powerful. And you would say, well, I'd be happy. And then you could even say to your team, how would you guys feel if we created the perfect job? And they'd say, we'd feel free. So everyone, you, your body and team, might have slightly different qualities that you are activating in your divine line in order to manifest that. And then again, using the higher realms to manifest it, be attached to it, see it happening up there, let it happen up there, receive it up there. Hint, hint, key operative piece, receive it up there, feel it, and then allow for that reflection to happen down here. The next question is how to deal with rushes of emotion. And from my perspective, our society has really not done a great service to the experience of emotion. There's lots of squashing emotion, and I really think of emotion as priceless, valuable fuel for the body deva and the soul to spiritually grow and evolve. So I'm feeling like a little emotional rush right now, and I am not squashing it 1 ounce. I am feeling that wave, and I am riding that wave, and I am letting it move through me completely. And so those that know me in my life, even my brother and sister-in-law, I don't squash the emotions at all. I even say to them, oh, I'm about to cry. Hold on. And here we go. And I just let it rip. And if they need to be uncomfortable with me having this beautiful experience, I'm going to hold compassion and vigil for them. But I'm also modeling to them how to be courageously with my emotions and literally ride them like waves of energy, because every time I ride an emotion, whether it's positive or negative. Now, I typically don't lash out and blame people for the emotional waves that I have. 90% of the time, I'm pretty good about that. 10%, I do blame, shame, and then recover and apologize. It doesn't happen very often, maybe once or twice a year if I'm really, really tired and PMSing. So anyway, when we feel those waves of emotion, they can literally move us, the soul, and the body deva to a higher vibration if we ride it like a wave. And so the people in your life, you could just say to them, you know what? I'm a feeling person. I feel the energy big, and I will warn you when I'm having an emotion and it's mine, meaning you totally own it. You are not going to share your fuel with anyone else. And again, I might repeat myself, but if you think about emotion, energy in motion, as fuel. When you walk down the street, you don't siphon gasoline out of people's tanks. It's illegal. You get thrown in jail. So we wouldn't do that with other people's emotions, just like empathic sensitivity of like, whoa, they're really angry. Oh, I'm going to give all their anger back, all of their little bits of fuel. I'm going to send them appropriate energetic information and hold compassion for them to be in their stuff with discernment that it's not mine. The compassion immediately decreases the empathic sensitivity, coupled with discernment that what you just felt is not yours. Immediately give it all back. That is their unit of fuel. And we hold compassion for them. But when we're having those waves of energy and emotion and fuel, we want to ride them as priceless waves up to a higher vibration, up to a higher consciousness. That emotion is pushing us up, maybe to greater degrees of empowerment if it's anger. Grief would be a release, would be letting go of energy that doesn't serve us, or we would be moving into greater degrees of connection. Right? If we experience loss, the solution or the opposite is connection. So I invite you to start using your emotions literally as waves. Now, if you're in an environment where you do not feel safe with the person, that actually just happened to me a few weeks ago. Somebody was sharing some of their opinions with me, and I did not feel safe in their presence. And I felt this huge wave of emotion of just wanting to burst into tears. And so what I did was I allowed my higher self and my body Deva's higher self to cry it all out in the moment, in a higher dimension, in a safe space, not in front of them. So again, invite your higher self, your body Deva's higher self, to emote the emotion wherever it is safe. If you are not safe, do not emote. Not advisable from my perspective. Find a safe space, find a safe time to emote. And it might be 3 hours later, it might be 6 hours later, it might be in that moment in a higher realm, but really give yourself that container and that safety, because when we experience emotion, we are opening up. And we don't want to open up when we're not safe. It's just a discernment call. So really honor the space that you need. What about depression? Seeing one of your kids be depressed. Yes, that fuel is absolutely an emotion. So depression, somebody just asked, what about depression? Seeing one of your kids be depressed, is that a fuel emotion? Every single emotion is fuel. Depression is we are trying to go deep in. And so if you have a loved one who is depressed, what I would do is I would hold the vibration of connection in my own divine line, same for my body Deva and my team. And then I would hold a safe and loving space for them to move into a deeper level of connection with their own essence instead of using depression to go deep in. There can also be literal physiological chemistry components to the body Deva that causes depression, so addressing those layers is advisable. If your child is suffering from depression, and every time you think of your child's depression, you think of this one ancestor, it might be that your child is empathically feeling the ancestor, your child has information for the ancestor, and you would then want to invite your child's higher self, to the degree that they choose, to send the appropriate information and to send the issue of the ancestor back to its right and perfect place, or whomever it belongs to, and then to bring in their own gifts for themselves. So really think of every single emotion as fuel. And I do have a Flip It sheet. You can find it in the blog. And sometimes in the daily cups, I share the Flip It PDF, where it's literally a list of emotions that we experience and what it is we are really after. But just think about the solution. I'm experiencing grief. What would be the solution or the flip, the opposite of grief, the positive aspect of grief? Flip it. Be joy or connection. Grief around what? Grief of loss. Okay, so the solution for loss is connection. So just kind of explore those emotions and what your soul is really intending on embodying. Whatever you are challenged by, you are hell-bent and determined to attain a very particular vibration. You might just be using the opposite of what it is you're intending on mastering. So again, depression is going deep within. Anger would be appropriate boundaries, not being responsible for other people, being totally responsible for yourself, not being a victim. So this last piece that I think I'll speak to has to do with the body deva and viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungi, even heavy metals. Heavy metals, our body can be exposed to particular environments when we pick up those heavy metals, but what is it in our body that's not allowing us to let go of those heavy metals or to let go of that toxicity? And so this piece really focuses on your body deva nature spirit and what emotions, energy, or issues it is processing on the heavy metals, the viral imbalance, the bacterial imbalance, the microbial imbalance. And so you would invite your body deva nature spirit, why are you holding on to these heavy metals? How is this serving you? Is it grounding you? Is it balancing you? Is it stabilizing you? Are you angry? Are you holding on to energy that doesn't belong to you and the heavy metals is just a reflection of that? So you can go into meditation or you can go into dream time and start having a conversation and asking your body deva why it's holding on to particular energies. The other piece with the body deva and microbes is the body deva is constantly attempting to move into higher vibrations. It too is in an evolution, an awakening. And so how do we do that? We bring in more light. And I had an experience with my body where the viruses were actually bringing in so much light that it made the viruses really active, and there was a viral imbalance. So I was really uncomfortable. And the parasites were actually holding a lower light frequency. The bacteria were holding a lower light frequency. The fungi were holding a lower light frequency, and the virus was holding the highest light frequency. And that created this imbalance. And so we actually want our microbes to hold similar vibrations of light. And so as your body goes through its evolution, we want to invite the body deva nature spirit at the level of its higher self to work with its energetic fields and the guides to balance the electrical and the magnetic frequencies and the light quotient within its microbes. So everything is balanced, everything is harmonious. We all have viruses, parasites, bacteria, and fungi in the body. But the key is, are they all balanced? Are they in homeostasis? And one isn't rearing its head, higher or lower. And so if you do have a lot of microbial imbalances in your body, you can invite your higher self. Actually, you'd invite your body deva's higher self to work with its energetic fields and the guides to balance its electrical and magnetic frequencies and light quotient within its microbes. The Rife machine or radionics is also a really good mechanism that you can use. Find a really good practitioner who uses this machine. It basically sends radio frequencies to the body deva to balance those microbes. I use that simply because I'm training my body deva to use her energy fields. And in the meantime, until her energy fields come fully online, we will use whatever resources to keep the body balanced. So feel free to check that out. I can't give a personal referral because the person that I use is a very unique way of working, but email me if you really, really want to know who I use. It's pretty expensive though, but it's worth it for me. So just because of the level at which I work and the persistent training that I want my body deva to be feeling of using her own energy fields to keep those things balanced. It's sort of like using training wheels before she fully gets it on her own. Good. So that was the piece with heavy metals, with viruses, parasites, balancing the electrical and magnetic frequency, and really holding the container that your body deva nature spirit is in a process of evolution, to be patient with it. You are a little more evolved than your body deva, believe it or not. You really are. And we so often over-identify with our body. And so I invite you to explore the vibration you hold in your divine line. Use your imagination or see if you can remember what it was like for you when you were not in a human form. Recognize that consciousness, that awareness, and then model those solutions, that higher vibration to your body, Deva, and hold a container for your body to catch up. Thank you so much for joining me for this conscious conversation. We ask that all of your reference points are updated, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived in the world. We invite you at the level of your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, and team to extract only that which you need, to bring in only what resonates for you and toss the rest. Let your higher self, your body, Deva's higher self, and team utilize this information in your own unique way. Make them your own tools, your own words. We ask that you're wrapped in sheets of rainbow light, gently sealing these vibrations in to whatever degree is appropriate for your spiritual evolutionary state. It's an honor to hold vigil, compassion, model energy, and walk with you in this way. Let it be so. Aho.